Welcome to the show that teaches you the things your parents and teachers are too afraid to. The Helios blog. Today, Kevin Samuels annihilates Brittney Renner. Here we go.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
The pool of men is 1 inch deep. That 1 inch ain't a lot of options. This is why I say, Brittney, you need to be careful about what you're saying to women, because it's one thing to believe what you believe, but telling women they have options is dangerous, because women have
actually believe you.
Listened to this stuff for my lifetime, and where has it gotten us? A 26%. 1 out of 4 black women will marry in their lifetime. 80% of children born out of wedlock. Yep. And when women do get married, they're walking out of their marriages at a rate of 80 to 90% when they file divorces. Options to do what? Die alone?
Literally.
And that's what my grandma didn't realize. Sweetie, you got options. But that was taboo then, like.
Disaster.
Your grandmother and your mother's situation is over here. Why was it taboo? It was taboo because human history has shown us that the world is not set up for a bunch of middle-aged women with children out trying to go get another man to mate with or couple with.
That's right.
To live the rest of their lives. It doesn't work. See, a lot of times women talk this stuff, this color purpling, or waiting to exhaling of the black community. And I don't, like I said, your personal experience over here, but I need you to understand that what's not being said is men are bad. That's what's not being said. But is this a positive conversation about men and the potential in relationships, or is it negative?
Well, it's a girl, you got options. Leave a guy whenever you want. What could go wrong? And then they get destroyed and then wonder, why did I get destroyed?
Your life, your choice. But when you say, well, we as women need to have this conversation, well, if you're not going to get with a man, who the hell you going to get with?
Exactly.
What's the alternative, ladies? What you gonna do? What's the alternative? Y'all all gonna decide to become alternative lifestyle?
Indeed.
Or are you gonna or are you going to become agreeable?
Nah.
And able to work with somebody? Because, like it or not, if you keep having the same outcomes, the only common denominator in all of our situations is us. All men can't be a problem.
Indeed.
Options. What options do grandmas have on the dating market? What the French toast?
To get divorced, that was embarrassing. It's different now. Social media doesn't ruin relationships. The user ruins the relationship.
Is she an idiot?
Okay, I mean, I'm not. What I'm saying is this, though.
Coming to this. So, can you imagine? So, here's what we want to do. I want to get together 100.
Did she just say social media doesn't ruin relationships? Instagram is the world's biggest dating app. What do you mean it doesn't ruin relationships?
Men, and we're going to start elderly singles clubs. Can you imagine this? Oh my God. We're going to start seeking arrangements, gray version.
Gray version.
Gray plenty of fish, gray Bumble.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
What the hell are we talking about? Options. Women get upset when men are so return on investment and transactional, but you ladies talk about relationships in such temporary, transactional, negative terms.
Indeed.
On to the next. I can't fix this one. I'll go get another one. Ladies, you treat men, you women speak about men like they're an infinite supply.
Yep.
And when the reality is you outnumber us on the planet. That's why I run the numbers. Ladies, you don't have options. Brittney, you may have options. But to the rank and file woman, they don't have options like that. And it's dangerous to keep telling women you can do what the hell you want to, how you want to, when you want to, and it'll all be all right.
And I've always said this, is that if you're serious about your relationship, try to keep it private as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people don't know that you're in a relationship with a certain person, and that's just y'all's relationship, then it takes away some of the potential other problems of
Indeed.
people DMing that person and either telling, them facts or lies or just whatever shade or whatever jealousy or whatever else. Because with social media, everyone's accessible to anyone. A person with a fake account could DM anyone, and that person might read it. And just like when you saw, like when reality shows became popular, you have these marriages, like Hulk Hogan had been married to his wife for like 150 years. And then after a couple seasons, suddenly they're getting divorced and she's with some 20-year-old guy and trying to like relive her youth and so forth.
Good for her.
Because
What do you
fucked up,
mean?
Brittney.
What do you mean good for her? Disaster.
What you just said was fucked up.
Literally.
This man has just told you about a relationship, a marriage, a family of 20 years. And he tells you that after getting on social media, they start having problems in the marriage and she's divorcing her husband and with a 20-year-old. And the first thing out of your mouth is good for her. Why? I mean, I want you to understand. This is why I started to lose it. I'm like, good for her. This is why I say therapy is so needed. Good for her. Bad for the community.
Indeed.
Bad for the kids.
Yep.
You just automatically assume when a woman does something, what? She's right and justified?
Yep.
So if the story had been reversed, Hulk Hogan left his marriage of 20 years for a woman in her 20s, would you have said good for him?
Of course not.
This is where this womanism, feminism shit is toxic.
Indeed.
So we openly talk about toxic masculinity and misogyny, but we don't talk about the shots that women throw at men every goddamn day.
Yep.
That was bullshit
Agreed.
and reckless.
it's so many other external forces, because a relationship is just hard enough with just the two people. You throw in millions of other people chiming in and trying to do whatever, whether it's true or false. This is what I'm saying. A lot of times it's just better to just keep all that out of the public.
Yep.
Period. Some of the most successful, Bono, the lead singer of U2, one of the most successful rock artists of all time. He's been married forever. You don't even know who his wife is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they have a beautiful family. They have great kids. She's, she's happy with just being with this guy. She doesn't need to parade and so forth. And I remember when I interviewed
but we don't like those stories.
Nope.
We don't like the stories where hierarchy exists, where one person is leading, the other one's in the back, family, such and so forth. See, just like we can find stories to point to that are jacked up and screwed up, you can still find stories where people are making it work. It all depends on how you think. If you want a world to where everybody can do what the hell they want to, then it's going to be anarchy and chaos.
Yep.
And do you ladies really want to live in that world? Because when these structures and infrastructure breaks down, all this talking y'all have, there's still going to be, where's the protection coming from? In Atlanta, a couple of weeks ago, they got a story of a man trying to do a home invasion, following a woman into the house. And he followed into the house because he assumed, like most black women, she didn't have a man there. Yeah, and he got his ass towed down when he went through the door because there was a man there. There was some britches in the house.
Indeed.
Good for her.
Yep. Lucky girl.
Usher's ex-wife. And I remember I mentioned that of like, hey, was it really necessary for you to be on the red carpets and so forth? Because with that came all the DMs of like, you're so old, you're so ugly, whatever else, to the point where she flew without his knowledge to Brazil to get massive plastic surgery and she had a cardiac arrest in the middle of the operation and almost died. And you're not going to tell me that's not because of social media and keeping the relationship public. And I'm like, why not keep it private? She's like, well, I want to experience all that stuff that he's going through, my husband and so forth. But it's a double-edged sword is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Usher was the star, not his wife.
Indeed. Just like Steph Curry.
Alicia Curry.
Yeah.
Steph is the star, not you. But so many women are trying to be the very men they want and wonder why you can't keep a man.
Yep. Maybe one of the biggest societal ills of our time is women thinking that they can become the men they're attracted to, and that will make a man want them. No, you can't be a man and be attractive to men. That is not at all how that works.
It's not like Miss Usher didn't sell one album as far as I know. Alicia Curry ain't hit one 3-pointer.
Indeed.
But this is what tends to happen too often. You get a man that other women want, and then you want, instead of just being happy he's yours and playing your role to be the inspirational muse, you want to be president, except you ain't did what it took to be up there.
Yeah, you haven't paid the cost to be the boss, as they.
And we got women
running
running around telling women, girl, go ahead and take the money, leave, such and so forth. And what ends up happening? As soon as they wreck their homes, leave or walk out of that situation, you got another broken family, more kids who are split from their parents, all those other kind of things.
Yep.
And then the women who are sitting around championing this stuff, nowhere to be found. Ladies,
Sabotage.
you have to make a decision. If you're going to be with somebody, be with somebody. But this whole wanting to be with, anyway, let me get on topic.
I'm not arguing that it's a double-edged sword, but to go, I guess in secret, to go get your body done because you felt pressured, that's an internal issue. That's a user error. Yes, social media is a very, very, very cruel place.
That's called the no true Scotsman fallacy, right? The idea that a real person, a non-mentally ill person would behave a different way. No. You're evading the question by answering in this way. It's a logical fallacy. You have not engaged with the argument that has been posed. So you are being a bad actor in this case. Bad faith argument.
It's a cruel world, but I think you have to use discernment, and of course, naturally, you do care what people think. And if you don't care what people think, you're probably a serial killer. So yeah, there's going to be an extent to where you do care what people say about you. But as a user, you have to know that your opinion reigns above all else. And if it doesn't, you're sneaking on flight.
Wait, what? Your opinion reigns above all else? How narcissistic is this girl? She's insanely narcissistic. That's actually crazy to me, guys. That's crazy to me.
So go get your body done and almost risking your life to maintain an image that is not real. So I don't think just anybody can just be on social media and use it responsibly. I've just been doing it for such a long time that you start to see through the bullshit and see how the game is played to where I don't even go in the comments.
Indeed.
I'm not going in there reading all of them because words are alive. They have lasting effects. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them.
Thank you. Remember that when you start talking this stuff to women. Words are alive. I'm with you. They are. And if you're called and you have influence, then think about the average women you're talking to.
She doesn't
think about the
that.
men
you're thinks about
think
herself.
about the men who are out there hearing you say good for her. If words are alive, you do have a son.
Not that
words
she
are
cares,
alive.
Yeah.
But see, far too often, men get spoken about in ways where almost objects, utilities, inhuman.
Yep.
And when women speak about men,
That's for sure.
they tend to put the face or the experiences of the men that hurt them onto all of us.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
That's right.
It's in your subconscious, even if you're not thinking about it. So I think people got to start putting the phone down. This is coming from a person who's made their living off of my phone. You got to put the phone down. Get out the fucking comment section. Get out of your mentions. Why do you care so much? Okay, so like I said, that's internal, but I do agree. Private, public, hey, if it can be destroyed by the truth, then it should be destroyed by the truth. And maybe, like you said, is it Hulk Hogan? Maybe that show revealed things to them that were dormant in their relationship. You never know. But if it was meant to work out, it would have worked out. Show or
disaster.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Again, here's that predeterminism stuff.
Yeah.
If it failed, it was supposed to fail.
Yeah.
I want you to
bullshit.
understand how infuriating this mindset is to men. On the one hand, you want to be able to do what you want to and make your choices. But on the other hand, when the consequences happen, it's out of my control. It's the universe.
Yep.
It was meant to be.
That's right. It's
But the
bullshit.
show revealed something magically. This is why men are frustrated with modern women. Because you will say anything to make your point. And it doesn't make sense with the thing you just said.
no show. That's just my point. It's like, if something's going to work out, it's going to work out.
I feel you. Listen, we all have our own moral compass. We all have our own values. And, trying to get through this life ain't easy.
Yeah.
You're going to hit, bad luck will come, sooner or later. Reality will come. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it seems like, the one thing that I've liked through this whole, interview is that you really take responsibility for everything that's happened to you. You haven't played a victim.
Yeah,
you're not blaming everyone else for whatever
responsibility.
issues you went through. And I feel like you're looking at life realistically, which to me is the most important thing, because it's very easy to become a victim in this world and just say, all these things that are happening to me are other people's fault. I'm just, bad things just keep happening to me for no reason. When the reality is that we all play a part in everything that happens, and when you hit these tough situations, they can work out different ways depending on how both people play it out.
Yeah.
I definitely feel for your position, which is why I said what I said, in the John Sally interview. That is, it's tough, to really have a relationship. It's hard to raise a kid, especially on your own. And with social media pressure and with, you talk about the NBA and that whole organization and the image that they try to portray and the way that women are viewed in society and so forth, where a woman dating a man slightly younger than her is considered taboo, whereas a man dating a woman twice the age difference between you and PJ is considered totally normal. So
this is where I have an issue. When I sat down with Vlad, I know you try to, play it a little bit more in the gray area. It's not the way society looks at it. It's the way nature looks at it.
Indeed.
There's always been age gap dating, always been age gaps, because men are fertile far into their lives, while women have a biological clock. See, you cannot re-engineer human beings to fit your culture, to fit your current narrative.
That's right.
Women are trying to re-legislate men's attractiveness, trying to tell a man that a woman who weighs more than him is just as sexy and pretty. And it's like, that ain't how that shit works. Women with means have always had the ability to date younger men. But see, I want to say something to what they both just said. This whole thing about the age gap, this and that. Let me play devil's advocate here. What happens when these school teachers end up sleeping with their younger male classmates? Even if they do go to jail, come out and put a 13-year-old boy on child support. But if a man were to do the same thing,
He'd get murdered in jail.
Boy.
Yep.
So the way women are portrayed today, women are not victims.
No.
Women, if anything, I could make a convincing argument to where men are suffering heavily today which is one of the reasons platforms like this are so popular, because there's such a one-sided narrative. I want you to understand that there is a Brittney component of this, which I don't have any problem with what an individual wants to do. But when we start extrapolating it to men and women, the whole energy about men and women's relationships was men negative, relationship bad, man not good. That's bullshit.
That's right.
And I will push back against it any day. I gonna sit down and be friends with you, be cool with you. I'm still cool with Brittney. I even told her I'm going in on this one, not on her personally. I like Brittney. I think she's a nice person. But I think some of the things you were saying regarding women and relationships, regular everyday people, is bullshit. It's dangerous, and it needs to be pushed back on heavily and countered with the facts. You can have an opinion all you want to, but how is this going to work out for the rank and file men and women that we're saying women need to stand up and start doing what? Stand up and start doing what? Exercise what option? What?
You got to deal with that, unfortunately. Okay. But that's just the world that we live in.
It is. And I think it just helps, standing in your truth, whatever that is, whether it's a 6-year age gap or a 20-year age gap. And you just live in your truth. And I think I take accountability for everything that I do. I don't play the shame game and just blame.
Yeah. I hate the concept of my truth, your truth. There is the truth, and that's it.
Because
there's no my truth, your
when
truth.
You blame others, you miss out on the opportunity to grow. And if I say all this stuff happened to me because of external forces, I'm giving my power away. So that's why for me, I love my child's father to death. That's why I had a baby with him, But there are things in that relationship, when I played the voice text, there are things that came to the surface for me that I'm like, moving forward, this will never happen again. I will never...
I know my worth. I had my fun. Now I'm ready to settle down.
Accept this, do that, talk to someone in that manner. I'm not proud of that voice text. That was just my reality. There are things that I need to work on. And I have no problem owning my truth and saying, you know what, I tried my best. And sometimes that's all the closure you'll get, is just knowing you gave it your all.
Yeah, I mean, you also don't know what the future will hold. People, emotions are not permanent. You hate a person to death one day and you get over it, the next day. And at the end of the day, you guys have a baby.
Pretty disingenuous.
And that baby's not going anywhere. So you guys are going to be linked really for the rest of your lives.
Yeah. So Brittney, her relationship, her personal relationship with PJ is not my issue. I know a lot of people wanted me to go in on that. Not my issue. But see, one of the problems men have with women today is you want it all. And the way you ladies talk is though you should be, everything, there should be no rules, no structure. It's like you want everything. But then the men you deal with, what do they get?
That's right.
They get a bunch of expectations, a bunch of demands, and then when it doesn't work, there's something wrong with what the men did. So if we were to just Thanos snap the world away, Thanos snap it this way. If you ladies were in charge, how would you make things work?
They wouldn't.
If you were all of a sudden the power. If there was no such thing as the patriarchy. Because the way a lot of women talk is though that you're so oppressed and that men are so bad. And we got to watch out for the bad old men and we got to protect the women and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? In our black community, we've seen what it looks like. A lot of brothers aren't in their homes anymore. It's not because they don't want to be. And you can make a strong argument that even under Jim Crow segregation and some of the worst racial discrimination, that the black community was in a better place because we had nuclear family.
Indeed.
I am always going to advocate for gender roles and for the men who want to get married and the women who want to get married and the people who want family. See, the problem we all tend to suffer from it. And this is my opinion, my belief, is that we want traditional outcomes. We want marriage. We want happy family and structure, but we want modern. We want partnership and equality. Right. Until shit goes left.
Yep.
Then you want the men to be the men. And that's what the men are saying. The men are saying, we know the truth. You want the men to be responsible for the lion's share of the bills, if not all. I know a lot of women will say the lion's share, but what they really mean is all. I've seen it for too long.
Yep.
And what I'm going to need modern women to start doing is stop talking about men like men are the problem. No, the men you pick are the problem.
Indeed.
That's the point. That's why this whole men's space and men's content has even come up, because women have talked about men in relationships for so long and have not taken stock in, hey, why do we keep picking, especially in our community, why are 80% of the children made by 16% of the men? Why do we keep picking the same very guys, and then when stuff particularly doesn't work, because we chose to not require marriage before we had children, because we chose to do things out of order, then we want to sit back and say, well, what is marriage? It's just a piece of paper. If it's going to fail, it's going to fail. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. I was young and I was dumb. Men are tired of hearing that stuff from you ladies. Men, we've done it for 50 plus years. Your way, it's time to try our way. Your way doesn't work. Our way has a go out recorded history, a track record of working. But then that's where it really gets right down to. A lot of women got to admit, they like the power. They like the spotlight. They want to be in charge. And that's why I say for Brittney, she is going to find spotlight. That's why a lot of you guys didn't understand. I knew who I was talking to on an interview. She's going to do her. That's her. That's legitimately her. And I like her.
But she can't generalize her subjective experience to the population, of course. All right. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom and Bobby Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, and Alan. Shout outs to you. Most recent purchase of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. If you want to watch 3 or 4 videos and not just one, per day, then go to my Patreon. You can get early access there. And, of course, if you want me to help you out, I do offer coaching services. Just message me at theheliosblog@gmail.com. That's my email. And I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.